my name is Kaylee Kessie. It is week 4 in Anatomy Bio 240, and we are going to be talking about the lymphatic system today. So for right now, I have our little skeleton guy because my family is not home to help me. So we're going to be going over the 7 different structures, and then after that, I'm going to be kind of talking about the lymphatic flow and kind of how it moves through our body. It's actually right next to our cardiovascular system, so that will be interesting to talk about. So I'm going to go ahead and bring you over to our little skeleton man. So he is facing me right now, and we're going to start off with the cervical lymphatic nodes, which are right here in your neck. You can see this is where they usually reside. Next, we're going to have our tonsils, which the tonsils actually hold the bacteria, and then the bacteria from our tonsils goes down to our thalamus, which is right here in the middle, and then the thalamus eventually goes down to the left side of your spleen, so it kind of helps circulate it and clean it out. I usually get really bad tonsil stones because of lack of sleep, and so definitely my toxins sit all up in my tonsils. Okay, and so for the right side, we're going to have our appendix. We already talked about the thalamus. We have our appendix. On the left side, we have our axillary lymph nodes, which are going to be always right underneath your armpit, under your arm, right in this general area, right here. These little going to be dots right in this where my hand is. And then next, one of the largest organs I forgot to explain is going to be the spleen. So the spleen, technically, it goes from your tonsils to your thalamus to your spleen, and then eventually you urinate it out, all the bad toxins in your body. But that is one of the largest lymphatic organs, is your spleen on your left side. And then we have our little patches, which are going to be right over here, our pepper patches, or peeper, I believe they're called, pepper patches. And then so next, we're going to talk about the lymphatic flow. So basically, the flow goes in a big circle like this. So, in this case, I'm going to just show it how I learned it. So first is our blood capillaries. Our blood capillaries travel down to our interstitial space, which is, in a sense, interstitial fluid, you could call that too. And next, we're going to have our lymphatic capillaries, which are held in our blood. After the lymphatic capillaries, you go in another little circle like this, and it would be our lymphatic vessels. So our lymphatic vessels then carry down to our lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes then go back to, you could either call them lymph or lymphatic vessels. So next would be our lymphatic vessels. And after that, we have our lymphatic ducts. Our ducts basically hold, like our glands, and I believe our glands is a good way to, kind of explain the lymphatic ducts. And then after that, we have the junction of internal, jugular, and subcapillary veins. So the subcapillary veins are actually super, super interesting. They help the body flow next to our cardiovascular system. So right in the middle, like in last week we talked about the cardiovascular system. So we have our heart basically right in this area. And then up here is where we would talk about the fluid being transferred in a sense, taking the journey to our next step would be the blood capillaries. And then the blood capillaries would flow down in just a huge revolving circle. So that is our lymphatic system. We talked about all of our 7 different important structures. We talked about the lymphatic being cleansed, then going through the capillaries, then going through the veins. And that is about it. Alrighty, thank you.